Okay, so picture this. It's February in Colorado.
Right.
You're standing on the ramp at Centennial Airport. You look out at the runways, and they've got that, thin, crispy layer of snow on the edges. It's cold.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely coat weather.
But then you look up, you look west toward the Flatirons.
And they should be covered in snow.
You should be, but they're bare.
Completely snowless. It's a little jarring.
It is jarring, and that exact image is right on the cover of the document we're looking at today. It really sets the scene.
It does. It's this visual cue that things are a bit off, a bit different. It tells you that you need to be paying attention.
Exactly. So today we are doing a deep dive into the February 2026 issue of Flightlines.
The monthly newsletter from the Colorado Pilots Association, the CPA.
And normally you hear newsletter and you just, immediately archive it without even reading it.
A digital clutter, usually.
Yeah. But we've gone through this, and honestly, calling it a newsletter is a disservice. We think you need to look at this differently. If you're a member, this document is your monthly return on investment.
That's a perfect way to put it. This is a survival guide for the modern pilot. We found, critical regulatory warnings.
Thousands of dollars in financial opportunities that are about to expire.
And a story about getting locked out of your plane that is, frankly, a bit of a horror story.
Oh, we will get to that nightmare scenario. But let's start with a big picture. The issue opens with the President's Corner from Andy Holmes.
And these can be a little fluffy sometimes, but this one is different. He lays out a whole strategy.
3 pillars, right? Safety, growth, and advocacy.
But he connects them to hard numbers. He's not just talking, he's targeting 800 active members.
Why that number? Is that just like a random goal?
No, it's a leverage metric. This is the key insight. When the CPA goes to the state legislature, the difference between representing 200 pilots and 800 pilots is massive.
So it's about political weight.
It's about turning a hobby club into a voting bloc. And you can see why they need that weight when you look at the advocacy highlights section.
Right. Let's tackle the big one first. PPA.
The Pilot and Aircraft Privacy Act. That's H.R. 4146 and S. 2175.
Okay, so break this down for us. Why is aviation privacy suddenly such a big deal?
Well, it all comes back to ADS-B.
Automatic Dependent Surveillance Broadcast.
Exactly. It's the tech where your plane broadcasts its position, its altitude, everything, every second. It was designed for safety so we don't run into each other.
But the problem is that it's not just air traffic control listening in.
That's the issue. The broadcast is unencrypted. Anyone with a $20 receiver can see where you are.
So if I fly to a business meeting or, somewhere I'd rather people not know about, it's all public record.
Public and archived. And the big concern isn't just nosy neighbors. It's about municipalities using that data for, say, automatic landing fees.
Or worse.
Or criminals using it to know when someone is arriving at a remote field. It flips the script from a safety tool to a surveillance tool.
And the newsletter is basically saying, call your representative now.
Immediately. And that seems to be the theme here, because the other big fight is the unleaded fuel transition.
This one feels huge.
Oh, it's a ticking clock. The FAA is moving the entire piston fleet off of 100 low-lead fuel.
Which is good, right? Lead is bad.
It's good in theory, but the execution is incredibly complex. You can't just dump new fuel in a 50-year-old engine.
So what's the urgency?
The FAA's transition plan is open for public comment, but that window closes on March 13th, 2026.
That's just a few weeks from when this issue came out.
Exactly. And the CPA is framing this as one of the most significant changes to piston aviation in decades. If pilots don't comment, the rules get written without them.
And it's not just these big national issues. They also list local airports, Longmont, Boulder, Centennial.
Yeah, that's all about incompatible land use.
The classic story. Someone builds houses next to an airport and then complains about the noise.
And then the airport gets restricted, or worse. The CPA is tracking all of it. So your membership dues are basically an insurance policy for your access to the sky.
That's a good way to look at it. But let's be honest, advocacy is a long game. Sometimes you want a return on your investment, now.
Which brings us to the money section.
I was shocked by the amount of cash just sitting in this PDF. But again, the deadlines are tight.
February 15th, 2026. That is the big one. The cutoff for the CPA scholarship applications.
And the stories behind them are just incredible. I was reading about the Walt and Terry Barbeau Scholarship.
Oh, Walt Barbeau, what a legend.
He was a WWII fighter pilot.
Fighter pilot, airport engineer, and as of last year, he was 101 years old.
101.
And still flying his Cessna 210.
You're kidding me.
Nope. So if you're a young student pilot getting that scholarship, you're not just getting money. You're inheriting a legacy.
It adds so much weight to it. And the other one, the Emily Howell Warner Scholarship.
That one's for female pilots pursuing advanced ratings. And her story is just as powerful. She was the first female pilot hired by a scheduled U.S. airline since 1934.
Wait, she was hired in 1973, so for almost 40 years.
Nothing. Zero. Women weren't being hired. She broke that glass ceiling.
So these scholarships are more than just money.
They're an investment in the future of the cockpit, backed by the pioneers of the past. But you have to apply by the 15th.
Okay, so what about the people who already own planes? The ones footing the bills?
There's something for you, too. The Colorado state tax credit for the unleaded fuel conversion.
Ah, so the scary transition we talked about has a silver lining.
A small one, yeah. The state will give you a tax credit to help pay for the STC. You need to use the new fuel.
An STC is a supplemental type certificate. Paperwork, basically.
And expensive paperwork. The state will credit you 50% of the cost, up to $500. And it's refundable.
Refundable is the key word. That means if you don't owe taxes, they actually send you a check.
It's cash back. It's a smart way to get people to convert their planes faster.
So we've covered political power and actual money. Let's talk about skills.
Right, because the CPA is also building tools to keep pilots from, running into each other.
You're talking about the Colorado Practice Areas Overlay Update.
Yeah, for ForeFlight, which is the app basically every pilot uses on their iPad for navigation.
So what does this overlay actually do?
Well, flight schools have these, unofficial boxes in the sky where they send students to practice maneuvers.
Which sounds like a recipe for a mid-air collision.
It can be. This overlay puts those boxes on your map. It basically screams, hey, watch out student pilots doing stalls in this area.
That's such a simple but brilliant idea.
It is. And speaking of safety in Colorado, you have to talk about the mountains.
The CPA Mountain Flying Course. This feels like a rite of passage for Colorado pilots.
It really is. It was developed back in 1986. And the physics of mountain flying haven't changed.
Density altitude is the big one, right?
That's the killer. Hot air, high altitude, it makes the air thinner. Your wings don't work as well. Your engine makes less power.
Your plane feels like a brick.
And that's what gets people into trouble. The newsletter is pushing the 2026 dates for the course now. They're making you plan your summer safety strategy in February.
Which is smart. Okay, we've talked regulations, money, safety. We have to talk about La Junta.
Ah, the La Junta story.
This is from the line section, written by Andy Holmes. And it is a masterclass in humility.
It's that oh no moment that everyone with a smartphone has nightmares about.
So, set the scene for us.
Okay, so Andy flies a Cessna 172 to La Junta, KLHX. He's there to prep for something called the Tarantula Wildlife Safari.
Which is apparently a real thing.
A real thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, a storm is moving in, the wind's picking up, he's doing his pre-flight check on the ramp.
And then it happens.
He realizes he's locked the plane.
Oh, no. And inside the plane are
his keys, his iPhone, his iPad, his wallet, and his regular glasses.
He's stranded. What did he have on him?
The only thing on his person was a pair of dark prescription sunglasses.
This is where it gets terrifying. I mean, take away my phone and wallet, and I'm not sure I even exist anymore.
That's exactly what he says. He felt stupid, but then the reality hits. He can't call anyone, he can't pay for anything, and he can't see properly after dark.
So what does he do?
He has to rely on community. The airport manager doesn't just shrug. He helps tie down the plane, pulls cash out of his own pocket for Andy.
Wow.
And then, this is my favorite part, he tosses in the keys to the airport courtesy car.
Which is what?
A white Chevy Impala with government plates.
So he's driving around at dusk in a government car, wearing dark sunglasses. He must look like an undercover cop.
He says people were literally swerving to get out of his way.
But the nightmare's not over. He has to get a hotel room with no ID and no credit card.
He manages to talk his way in, but then the real tech lesson hits him. He goes to the business center to log into his email to find his wife's number.
Let me guess. Two-factor authentication.
Bingo. Google says, great, we just sent a code to your iPhone.
Which is locked in the plane 5 miles away.
He was digitally paralyzed, completely cut off.
It's a real question for everyone listening. Do you know anyone's phone number by heart? Could you call for help if your phone died right now?
It's a scary thought. Andy ends the story by saying that in a big city, he might have been toast. But in La Junta, the small-town general aviation community just worked. People helped.
And what's the practical lesson here, besides don't lock your keys in the plane?
Well, the old rule was always put the keys on the dash so you can see them.
Right.
But Andy's keys were on the dash. He could see them perfectly through the locked window.
Ah, Good point.
So his new rule is my new rule. Keys, phone, and wallet stay in your pocket until you are physically sitting in the seat.
In the pocket. Simple. Like it.
Foolproof.
Okay, before we wrap this up, let's touch on the fun stuff, because this issue isn't all doom and gloom.
No, the social calendar is packed. Wings Over the Rockies has a breakfast fly-in on February 14th.
Valentine's Day. Very romantic.
And they have a food truck called Wafflerita.
I don't know what that is, but I want one.
There's also helicopter days in Colorado Springs and astronomy night later in the month.
But then it pivots from social events back to service.
It does. The Airport Support Network. They're looking for volunteers to be the eyes and ears at specific airports. They list Fremont County, Craig Moffett.
And a seaplane base in Colorado.
Apparently,
Yeah.
Lake Meredith Seaplane Base, it just reinforces that membership is active participation.
So let's zoom out. We've just spent all this time on one single PDF.
One that most people would probably delete.
And inside, we found a major legislative battle, a $500 tax credit, scholarships connected to WWII heroes, and a cautionary tale about our reliance on tech.
It's not a newsletter. It's a toolkit for being a pilot in 2026.
So I want to leave our listeners with this thought, going back to that La Junta story.
Oh.
We spend so much money on our avionics, glass cockpits, iPads, Bluetooth headsets.
We are totally wired in.
But when Andy was standing on that ramp, locked out of his entire digital life, none of that mattered. The most valuable asset he had was the airport manager who walked over and said, "Here's some cash, take the car."
That's the real lesson. The technology is great, but the human network is the ultimate backup system. So the question for you is, if you were stranded like that, who would come get you?
That is the question. So check your inbox. Open that PDF from your local group. There might be a lifeline in there you didn't even know you needed.
And for heaven's sake, memorize your spouse's phone number.
Memorize the number. And keep the keys in your pocket. Thanks for listening to this deep dive. We'll catch you on the next one. Fly safe.